Mark Zuckerberg this morning released an acoustic version of Get Low, which also features T-Pain. It is available on Spotify. You can listen to it. I highly recommend it. I'm not going to play it because I don't want to risk one of my lifetime DMCA strikes. And who knows, but it's a bit of a delightful little story. I really like it because it's the kind of thing that it feels like, Zuckerberg is a lunatic billionaire. There's no loving him, but I appreciate the fact that he's finally stopped just listening to PR people and doing PR responses and trying to do things that are clearly to fix his own image. And now he's finally just saying, okay, I'm just going to do the stupid things that I want to do, because there's no way a PR company would ever think about this. It's the first thing that I've ever seen that I've thought, oh, maybe Mark Zuckerberg is a human. It's a really weird choice. The cover is okay. It's still an acoustic cover of Get Low by a white guy. It's a bit weird, but there's something strangely endearing about it that I really appreciate. There's just something honest and truthful about it. The reason he did it, to explain the context as well, is apparently when he met his girlfriend, they met at a party while Get Low was playing. So it kind of became their joke song together. And so he created this acoustic cover as a present to her, or just as a romantic gesture of some kind. I don't know. I like it. There's something I like about it. It's cute. Man went from being weird lizard man to poster boy for amazing husband. I like the idea of just having so much money that you can call up T-Pain and say, hey, I want to record this really stupid thing. You're really good at music. Will you do this? I'll pay you however much money you want. And T-Pain just sitting there going, yeah, okay, why not? Sounds like fun. World would be a better place if we place small pieces of lead in all rich people at high velocity. I agree. I would actually prefer large pieces of lead sharpened on one end, dropped from a piece of wood on a rope. But, that's just me. Thought Zuckerberg was a lizard or a robot. He still gives a lot of that energy, but this is at least a little bit human. There's been some pictures of him I saw in the press at a party wearing the most gaudy, ridiculous outfit as well, that I also just saw and thought, this man dressed himself. There's no way any designer let him wear that. That guy said, I like this outfit. I'm going out with this outfit on. And he rocked it for his own sake. You need a stronger metal. Lead would deform too fast to be useful. I didn't say I wanted it to be quick. We just keep pulling it back up and dropping it until it goes all the way through. They're billionaires, not humans. Come on. You don't have to treat them that ethically. One more fun story. This is going to flashbang us. A bunch of people in California put on a bear costume and broke into their cars, Rolls Royces, and shredded the inside of their cars to do false insurance claims. And they submitted these insurance claims. There was all these insurance claims happening because bears were attacking cars in California. So a bunch of rich people said, well, what if we found a way to write off our Rolls Royces and everything? So they dressed up as a bear and sent in these videos as insurance claims. And the insurance people looked at them and went, that's not a bear. That's a man in a bear costume. And then arrested them all. They raided their house. They found the entire bear costume in their house. They didn't even try to store it offsite. Absolutely rookie mistake. The smoking gun, or should I say the smoking claws. And now they're all arrested under insurance fraud. It's brilliant. I love every part of this story. It's such a comical delight. I hate this world. I have no idea. Apparently, it's not uncommon for bears to be destroying stuff all the time in California. I just love that 4 different people thought, yeah, we could get away with this. This is insurance fraud we could pull off. Did they work out it wasn't a bear because it didn't steal the Ranger's lunch? They worked out it was a bear because it targeted very high-end luxury cars, and they thought, that's bizarre. That's unusual. Anyway, great story. Great story. That bear has taste. I had a couple of small news stories, but we don't really have too much time to talk about things, so I'll just be very quick. Somebody cooked a chicken in Baja Blast. They detailed the entire story on Twitter. It's a fun read. It goes about how you would expect, which is gross in general. I would say pretty gross. They end up with a pretty green looking chicken that apparently tastes like Baja Blast. Then they do it with rice, and they say that the rice tastes way better, including an egg. And then someone was like, you should cook these Baja Blast hot dogs. I've never had a Baja Blast, but I really want to after reading about this chicken. Is it good? No, apparently it just tasted like Baja Blast. It was also very confusing because it would never boil. So they were cooking this chicken in hot Baja Blast, but for whatever reason, they couldn't get it to boil. whatever chemical reason, whatever Baja Blast is made out of, it just didn't work. You made a Blue Sky account for some reason. Blue Sky's great. I've been using Blue Sky a lot more than Twitter, but when I'm looking for weird news, sometimes Twitter is still the place to go. Never had Baja. I know. I've never even seen it in stores. I don't know if it's just in America or whatnot. I'm really missing out though, apparently. Baja Blast usually in store a few times a year. Usually you get it at Taco Bell. See, I've never eaten Taco Bell, so that probably explains a lot. Never eaten Taco Bell seems unbelievable. I would just rather cook my own tacos. I eat tacos a lot. There's no harm in just making it yourself. It's one of the easiest dinners to make. I guess the one caveat I will give to this is my partner loves tacos as well. Who doesn't, really? If I was to be living by myself, it would probably be a lot more difficult to make and eat tacos. Because you shouldn't really eat an entire taco kit by yourself. If you're sitting down and eating all 10 tacos in a taco kit, and therefore also a whole pound of ground round or an entire block of ground tofu, that's a lot of food. That's arguably too much. Rather make it myself or go to a real Mexican restaurant. Yeah, go find a place that gives good deals. Not one of those places that charges $13 a taco. That stuff's a scam. We About to Die, is that a Manage a Gladiator team game? No, We Who Are About to Die is a Be a Gladiator game and is absolutely top tier. There are few games I would recommend as strongly as this game. It's a delight. It gets regular updates. It's had a couple of major updates since I've started playing it. It's really, really fun. It's a roguelike gladiator game. So every time you fight, you carry your wounds and your equipment over into the next fight. And every single fight is lethal. So it doesn't matter how well equipped you are, how good you are at the game. There is a chance that you could end up in a fight and end up in something like a 12v1, make a misplay, and then just get absolutely decimated. It's really satisfying. The combat is really, really fun. It's gotten great tweaks over the years as well. It used to be really janky. It had a real Euro jank vibe in the combat. Now it is like a much better Bannerlord style combat, or a similar to Bannerlord style. It's still got a bit of jank to it, but the more you play it, it's pretty easy to get into, but it's really hard to get really good at. And it's really satisfying once you figure out the combat, because you can get crazy good. Gladiator Guild Manager was disappointing to you. Yeah. Gladius was good. This is one of the mini games that I got you to buy. Yeah. It's only single player at the moment. I don't think there's any plans for multiplayer, but the way it works is you start as nothing and then you work your way up through the ranks of gladiatorhood. And every time you play, you get a different character, so they come from a different background. So you could be a criminal, you could be a slave, you could be you could come from a gladiator ludum or whatever they're called. You could be a disgraced noble. There's all sorts of things, and all of them have different aspects, and all of them have different win conditions. So if you're a disgraced noble, it's, for example, very hard to win over the crowd, but you have 2 bodyguards that come with you into every single fight, and your stats suck. So you've got to be, your beginning game is really, really difficult. You've got to be very careful about the fights you pick, and it's very hard to win up favor. So you can't necessarily unlock stuff so much, but you also don't need to worry about necessarily repairing your equipment so badly, because if you only fight 1v1s, you're probably going to end up, you're always fighting a 3v1 in your favor. So it's really, really cool for that. And then other characters, sometimes I played as a blacksmith's apprentice, and I think the victory condition was to just have all top tier gear. And then if you die, your character dies forever. But depending on how your run goes, sometimes you pass stuff down to your next gladiator. You might be able to pass down 1 or 2 pieces of equipment, for example. So Bannerlord combat as a gladiator, totally looking at that now. It's so fun. It's also cheap. There's also a demo. It's $30, but it goes on sale like pretty often. It will definitely go on Christmas sale. Play the demo and you'll know pretty quickly whether or not you like it, I think. I love it. It's frequently installed, and I will frequently just go back and play it for short little runs. Because you can sit down and you can play for 5 minutes, or you can sit down and you can play for 2 hours. And it's all developed by originally a single guy, but I think he's got a few more people on board now. And there's been really good expansions. They just expanded the whole class system and the traits that you can take into battle at the beginning. So there's all sorts of different options now. And an update they gave this summer, they introduced things like you can now rent yourself out. So sometimes you don't fight gladiator fights. Sometimes you fight in the wars that are going on, the Roman wars. And so you'll end up in these huge battlefields like Warband, Bannerlord, Mountain Blade. And you won't have to deal with a crowd, but you will have to deal with killing a whole lot of troops and surviving until the end of the fight. So it's great. It's great. I really can't recommend this game enough. So not interested in multiplayer, solid solo. You're kind of selling it to me right now. Yeah, it's a great solo game. If you like this kind of combat simulator, really fun, excellent quality, good development, solid patch rate, good feedback from the devs, very well liked. And it's got that one more run feel to it. When you finally do die, you're like, oh, okay, I gotta start a new guy. While I'm juiced up on those fights, while I remember how to fight really well, let's start a new character and see what we can do. And yeah, he's always updating it with new combat updates, new AI updates, all sorts of stuff. Quite a steep learning curve for combat. Yes, yeah, you're gonna die a lot until you figure out how to get good. But then when you finally do, and you're snowball, and you're walking into an arena just strapped with massive bronze-plated gladiator helms and huge shields and morning stars and everything else, it's really satisfying equipment-based stats as well. So you can decide, like, if you want to play as a really tanky character, you move really slow, you don't have a lot of stamina, but it's very hard to get killed. Or if you start getting really good at the game and really good at the combat, you can play as a really speedy character wearing really light equipment that necessarily can't take a few hits, but you can just go berserk on people. And all the different weapons are good. Anyway, I think I've sold it enough. I just love this game and want more people to play it. Yeah. Still on Reddit for the cat videos. Those are the best parts. I actually have a cat related thing this morning. So we should, I'm gonna dive back into the news before we go too off the deep end. This little guy, these little guys. I just realized I see so many cat memes in my timeline. If I'm gonna sit here and we're gonna go through stuff. You'll also notice we're on Blue Sky today, grabbing all the tweets off of Blue Sky, or all the bleats. I don't know what we call them. But I saw this full size and travel size kitty cat, and I just thought, oh, these guys are adorable. I'm gonna add these. I'm gonna start grabbing some of the cat things, and we can do these as little palette cleansers in between everything else. So anyway, just some adorable little gremlins. I love these Maine Coon ears. I had multiple when I was a child, Maine Coon cats, half-breed Maine Coon cats, big 30-pound cats. We'd have to shave them every summer. They were the size of my torso. Huge cats, 30 pounds, all muscle. Absolutely risen it up. Huge energy on those cats. Loved every moment of them. They were super adorable. So my last little thing for you is just a raccoon holding somebody's hand. This is my palette cleanser for today.